Distribution provided by Cloud Sigma, the cloud that adapts to you. Visit cloudsigma.com/thisweekin for a free $200 credit. Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by Stamps.com. Why go to the post office? Use Stamps.com instead. For a no-risk trial and $110 bonus offer, use promo code TWiST. And by GoToMeeting. Sign up for GoToMeeting using the promo code START to begin your free trial.
Hey everybody, it's This Week in Startups. Today on the program, it is our Shark Tank Takeover. Yes, we're knocking off the Shark Tank show on television, and we're going to have 5 entrepreneurs pitch me, Jason Calacanis, on their ideas. I'm going to give them brutally honest feedback, and hey, I may wind up investing in one or two of them. You never know. It's happened before live on the air, so stick with us.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah, we ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to This Week in Startups. I'm Jason Calacanis. I'm your host, and this is the program where we talk about startups, where we talk about entrepreneurship, where we talk about trying to put a dent in the universe, trying to make products a little bit better than the ones that came before it, try to just create jobs and create awesomeness in the world. Now, if you are a member of Gen Y who does not want to work hard and create great products, please, by all means, click over and watch. Just type cat videos into YouTube. Just get the heck out of here. Leave. We do not need you. Leave. This is the show for samurai, for killers, for murderers, for gangsters, for people who want to win. If you are a loser, if you want to save the migrant workers in China, if you want to ride a bicycle across the Himalayas, whatever, we don't have any use for you here. Go forth and fight for causes. This is for people who want to create awesome products and services and businesses and who want to create jobs. If you are one of these people who, just is living with your mom and dad in the basement and doesn't really want to do much, but, I don't know. Anyway, I think you guys get the idea of what the show is about. I'm trying to just be honest with you. I don't have time for people who don't want to work hard and don't want to hit the excellence that is required to compete in the world today. It's hard today. Products are awesome. And there's you want to talk about the 1%? I'll tell you about the 1%. It's not the 1% of people who have all the money and 99% who don't. That's not what it is. It's really like the 10% of society that wants to work hard and make things better. And then there's the 90% who are either entitled or tired or lame and who just want to punch a clock. Or they want to get theirs or whatever. They want to get paid. They want to get theirs. They want to just chill out. If you're part of that 90%, please go back to your Xbox. For the love of God, there are episodes of the Kardashians or whatever their show is. Yeah, Meet the Kardashians, whatever the show is. That's where you belong. Leave. Stop listening. Go. There's Kardashians to consume. This is for the people who want to create stuff. This is for the 10%. Anyway, today's going to be a great episode. 5 of those creators, 5 people who are willing to take a chance, 5 people who are willing to put it on the line are going to pitch me, Jason Calacanis, angel investor, serial entrepreneur, on their ideas. And I'm going to give them honest feedback. I'm going to give them honest feedback about how to pitch better. I'm going to ask them questions that the D-bag VCs will ask, the hard questions, the dumb questions that VCs ask, and how to do the kung fu to answer those dumb VCs. A lot of them are dumb. Not all of them. Like anything else, the top 20% of VCs are awesome, and the other 80% are ugh. And you know what? This program would not exist without sponsors, supporters. I have 5 or 6 people working at This Weekend to make this happen and to produce the show 2 times a week, sometimes 3, to get these stories out there and to create this community. And we've been doing it for 287 episodes. And, man, it feels like we just started yesterday. And one of those, wow, do we have the do? We need that little trumpet, because today we have a new sponsor, and I'm so excited about this partner because it's one that I use, and it's one that I've been using for almost a decade, I think. Across 3 or 4 companies I've used Stamps.com. And going to the post office That's kind of a waste of time. We all know that. And you don't have a lot of time as an entrepreneur. And if you have Stamps.com, you can buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package. And by the way, I use the post office like priority mail. You ever use priority mail? It's like a tenth of the price of other products out there in the market. And you can do that from home. And so go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and use the promo code TWiST. Once again, go to Stamps.com. I think you can remember that. Click on the microphone at the top of the page, and use the promo code TWiST. And you get a no-risk 4-week trial. And you get a free digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. 2 billion letters and packages have been sent with Stamps.com. It's basically the same stamps you're going to get at the post office. And the post office, by the way, they're doing a great job. They're working really hard to create competitive products and services, and Stamps.com will save you from having to go to the post office and take all that time and just do it from home. The free digital scale calculates the exact postage you need, so there's no guessing and there's no waste. Stamps.com is a great product. I stand behind it fully. I wouldn't take them as a partner if I didn't. If you use it, you're going to love it. So go ahead and go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top, and use the promo code TWiST, TWIST, and get some huge discount. No risk, 4-week trial. Awesome. And follow at StampsCOM, at StampsCOM. I'm going to have to call up the folks at Twitter and see if I can't get Stamps. They're at Stamps. They have at StampsCom. I'll try to work that out for them. I got some hookups. I'll try to work that out for you, Stamps.com. I'm going to call my people over at Twitter. So let's go to the GoToMeeting of the first pitch. And the first pitch is Omri. Omri's pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Omri, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Jason?
I am fantastic. Are you ready to pitch?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you have 30 seconds. 60 seconds. 3, 2, go.
Zebra is a social music discovery platform that is helping independent artists make music their full-time job by turning fans into evangelists. Right now, there's 3 main problems facing fans and musicians in the industry. Fans aren't financially incentivized to share the music that they love. 2, when they're making purchases, there's no personal connection between the fan and the artist. And 3, artists are struggling to find a way to make music their full-time job by making more fans and more money at the same time. What we're doing is creating a social discovery platform that incentivizes fans to share the music they love with their friends. Using our pricing model, the more people that buy music, the cheaper it gets. So fans get the reward of helping an artist grow, and artists make money and new fans at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, very well done. And I think I understand sort of how this works. It's for me to discover new artists, and somehow I'm going to get paid in the process. Is that correct?
Yeah. So what happens is you'll come... Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to make it clear that's what's happening. And then here I see this chart. There's a pledge here, and the price goes down as the number is sold goes up. So it's got a time on it. Here, you can pull up my screen, guys. So here we go. I'm on the pledge page, and this is really beautifully designed.
Thank you.
So I see here the Girl and the Ghost album, and right now the current price is $3.99 with 130 sold. If it goes to $2.50 or $500, I guess that's going to go down proportionally to $1.99 or 99 cents. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
All right. I'm going to stop myself for a second here and I have to grok what you've done. First of all, the pitch, I'm going to tell you, is terrible because the idea is brilliant. This is a brilliant idea. It's demand-based pricing in a Kickstarter model. That's what you've created.
I'm writing this down, Jason.
And what you pitched me on, I took some notes while you were pitching. And you said that the first thing you said was the problem was that people want to share music, but they don't get any money from doing it or a financial incentive. That's actually not true. People share music because they want to get credit for introducing their friends to something that's really cool. It had nothing to do with money. So I think that you started with something that's just not true. Then you said something else that was not true, which was there's no connection between fans and artists. That's patently false. There's never been a deeper connection between artists and fans. Twitter, Facebook. I mean, you have people
I said
like...
it when they make purchases. I said
Okay.
there's no connection when they make purchases.
Yeah, but there's such a no connection when you make purchases. I mean, when you're consuming, the purchase is just such a tiny moment that, and even with Kickstarter, there is sort of a connection because people are buying it through that. And even Bob Dylan, my favorite artist of all time, I'm on his mailing list, and there is a connection. He just sent me an email about Tempest, his new album. And Tempest, I can buy like 7 different versions of it, one with a harmonica, one without a harmonica. You know, it's like I can spend from $10 to $300. So there is sort of a connection there. So that didn't ring true in your pitch. And then you said the artists want more fans and more money, which that was true. So you have to be very careful when you're pitching a really great idea to not screw it up. And you did screw it up this time. Because when I finally saw this beautiful page, so well designed, and it reminded me of like iTunes plus Kickstarter plus this new graph that I'd never seen before that's beautifully designed of the scale going up and down. You visually represented that. Boy, did it just hit for me. And so the way to do a pitch like this is to say, so we've come up with a clever idea that's part Groupon and part Kickstarter. It's like Kickstarter in that there's a period of time and a pledge period. But it's like Groupon in that if a certain number of people agree to buy the album, the price goes from $5 to as low as 99 cents for a whole album. And so it's kind of fun to watch the price go down and tell your friends about it. So here's an example of that working, and then you go right into the example. You see what I did there? I used something that everybody understands, Kickstarter. I used another thing everybody understands, Groupon, and I just took credit for 2 of the most successful and intriguing businesses of the last decade. Kickstarter and Groupon. Groupon's a little bit derailed about the IPO price and all that kind of stuff, but the truth is everybody loves Groupons, everybody loves coupons, everybody loves what they've done on a product basis. So what you have here is brilliant. I've never seen this executed this well. Has anybody ever done the more albums sold, lower price thing before? Did you see that previously somewhere?
No, it's a direct experience from helping manage one of my best friends in college. We just finished up here a while ago, but his passion was to pursue music as his full-time job, and mine was to go do my own startup. So it was a great way to give back and also do this. And I think, what validated it was when Lady Gaga sold her album for 99 cents on Amazon, and he just saw a boost of 400,000 users buying it on there. So from then on, I just went on and built Zebra.
Listen, it's also very good looking. So I do
Thanks.
appreciate that as well. I think it's well designed. I think the homepage,
Needs work.
It needs a little bit of work, and
know.
I'll tell you why. It's gorgeous, and I don't, you have a nice video and everything. I'm pulling it up right now. What I would do is, I think you have to show the permalink page.
What we do.
And when I saw that permalink page, and I understood, the Girl and the Ghost EP. Once I see that, I understand it. And so you have that. You have to understand what is the most powerful piece, the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. And it's hard as an entrepreneur sometimes because we're so close to the project that you're thinking about all these meta issues that I'm not even at. But when I see that beautiful graph and I can understand it. Oh, if this goes to 250, it's going to go down to 299. If it goes to 500, it's going down to 99 cents. Wow, that's cool.
Thank you.
And so I would keep iterating on that. You could probably even make that little 2-bar histogram chart even better. I would just iterate on it like 2 more times, maybe 2 more cycles of iteration, and I think you have a winner on your hand. And I would make it even move up quicker, like, I don't know, 500 albums, maybe even make it, 200 albums, because for these artists, they just want to get it out there, right? So being able to see it get lower and lower in price is even better.
Yeah, we created an algorithm where basically an artist will tell us how many fans they would want to reach, and we plug that number in, spit out what's the teardrop for each price, according to how many fans they should reach. And then our goal is to help them get that and go beyond.
How many artists have you done this with, and how old is this company?
We launched in June 26th.
Oh.
We've done it with 10 artists so far, and we have 20 more about to release.
How did
that
those
are
10 artists
either
do?
out right now. The first one sucked because nobody knew about us.
Yep.
And then the next one did kind of okay, like they were up in the 20s. Then we got some 30s, and then this one right now is our best performing one.
So here's an idea for you. You know about HumbleBundle, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
So HumbleBundle has done a really good job. And if I pledge for one of these, can I pledge and get 50% off if I buy 3 or something?
No, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I think it makes another level of competition, but or another level of whatever. But if you did this sort of like Y Combinator, like there's a class. So there is the November album pack. There's the December. There's you do it every month or you do it every 45 days. Then I could just say, you know what, screw it, for anywhere from $40 to as low as $10, I get 10 albums, and then everybody got the 10 albums for $1 each. That would be incredible. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'll take a risk, $30 for 10 albums. Oh, and now it's 20, now it's 10. It could be even more exciting. But you have to test this first. And did you build this all yourself? You're the designer and the coder and everything?
So I'm the designer, product guy. We also have a back-end developer working on it. And we're bringing 2 more devs actually next week.
And are you part of any incubators or anything like that, or are you thinking about calling
thinking of applying to YC.
Yeah.
This upcoming batch. Right now it's just bootstrapped based off the money I've saved in college, and I actually got into a program called Upstart recently. It's they invest in students instead of companies.
You got accepted to that?
Me, additional legroom. Yeah.
So how much did you raise through Upstart?
I raised $50K through Upstart, so it was really cool because I was down to $182 in everything before they gave me that money.
So now they've invested $50K in you.
Using the money.
People have invested
not the company.
And then how does that work? How do you pay back the $50K? Hey, there you are. Look.
Yeah. It's over 10 years. You pay a percentage of your income according to the amount of money you take.
And so is that going to work for you, or do you think? How much do you think you'll wind up paying back?
So there's a cap.
What's the cap?
They have a cap. So
10%?
I think for me it's at I think the specific number is at right above 150. So I'm okay with that. To be honest, they have a great set of mentors, and they provided me cash when I was down to nothing.
Wow.
And now, I do have the chance to keep bootstrapping a bit more, and the next goal is to find our seed angel and make this a full-fledged platform and really revolutionize the music industry by turning it upside down.
Interesting. Well, this is doubly interesting, and I think that you have a great idea. I don't like the name, Zebra, because the double I think you get a better name. But, it's a fine placeholder for now. Is there some concept behind the name, or is it just interesting sounding generic name?
No, my friend called the piano Zebra because of the black and white keys, and we use the double slash as a comment, when you write code. So we want people to comment about the music.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
That's completely, it's a bad name. You got to work on the name. But when you raise your angel round, you could put, $50K or $25K towards a better name. That would be a little bit more memorable and easier to spell. But it's Omri is how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, that's actually pretty spot on.
Okay. Omri, hey, listen, this is a great idea. Congratulations, and I wish you luck with it. And let me know when the angel round happens. I might be interested.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, well done.
All
okay,
right.
That was great. Let's go to our next pitch. Our next pitch is number 2 is afterschool.me. Is that right?
It is. Hi, Jason.
Who am I speaking with?
This is Evan Fieldman.
Hey, Evan. How are you?
Fantastic. Happy
Look
to
at
be on
that.
your
You
show.
got a beautiful HD. Gorgeous. My God, we must be using GoToMeeting.
You're
okay.
gorgeous, Jason.
All right, let's do this. You have 60 seconds. You ready?
I am.
Okay, 3, 2, go.
For the past 6 years, I've volunteered as a mentor through the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. On one outing, my mentee asked if I could help him find an after-school activity. So I spoke to parents of his friends, and I searched online. With parents spending over $30 billion on their kids' activities, I was shocked to learn there was no resource where I could find activities in his neighborhood, at what time, and at what cost. So I created AfterSchool.me. AfterSchool.me helps parents find the best activities for their kids in sports, arts, and tech. Parents search for activities based on age, location, cost, and reviews. Every time there's a transaction on our site, whether it's for a product or registration, we charge a convenience fee. We launched locally in LA this summer, and we already feature over 1,200 activities at 125 small businesses and rec centers. We have 30 mommy blogs across the country ready to be our affiliates, and we're super pumped to be on your show. Jason, you're a parent. Check us out. Inspire your kid at afterschool.me. Okay,
very well done. And I have faced this problem myself. And actually, I just did a search, and the JAG Gym came up, and I've actually gone to classes at JAG Gym with my daughter. So mission accomplished there. And I frequently turn to Yelp to look for kids' activities, or just do searches, for gymnastics Los Angeles for kids, or gymnastics for kids Los Angeles on Google. And so it is amazing that this doesn't exist already, and it's a very clean interface. And yeah, it really doesn't exist, huh? Nobody's really done it well?
Yeah, what you're seeing now is you're seeing a lot of directories where they're only listing programs, you're getting just a few tidbits of information, but what we're showing is activities. So you're not just going to find the gym class, you're going to find tumbling. When you go to the YMCA, you're going to see basketball, softball, volleyball. So we're really breaking it down. We're saving time for parents, and we're also a huge resource for a lot of these small businesses, nonprofits, and rec centers. They're great with kids, but where they need help is marketing, and that's what we're doing. We're bringing them together online, and people are psyched. It's why we've had a lot of traction already here in LA.
Right. So here I see, I'm looking at the balls at the Palms Recreational Center for 2 to 4-year-olds, $56 a session, and it's from October 3rd to December 5th. It looks great. I know that park. It's a great park in Los Angeles. I've been to it. And then when I click Enroll Me, it dumps me over to their web experience, so which is terrible, and it's actually broken. So do you have your own enrollment system as well? Are you going to try to get them to use your SaaS solution for that?
Yeah, that's the future. Right now, we're testing various ways to monetize, and one of them is registration. So in the future, we'll be able to upsell programs with registration, software as a service solutions.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key, because although, you're a directory right now, but really being able to manage their lists and do that will make it extremely defensible. And what does it cost you to put these activities in there currently? You have somebody doing the research and putting it in? Do you have people calling up to ask them to put it in? How does it work?
Yeah, right now, over 80% of the programs are actually entering the activities for themselves. It's very easy. It's an automated process. We also have one intern, and we've sort of made the process even easier by using mTurn. So we know how long it takes us to enter an activity, how much it costs to pay an intern, but it's really the programs. They love what we're doing, and they're entering the activities themselves, so it's been great. It's
a really good idea, and you were part of the StartEngine?
Yeah, so right now we're members of StartEngine. My co-founder, Alex, and we received $20,000 in seed funding. Our demo day is next week, and it's really exciting. There's a group of 15 startups, and it's been an awesome experience.
And they are a little more aggressive in terms of the deal they give you, unlike, let's say, Y Combinator, which is like $20K for 6% of common. StartEngine is $50K, but you give up 20% of the equity. How much equity do you have to give up in that kind of program?
Yeah, so StartEngine, you give up 10% equity, but they're investing in much earlier stage companies where you're really just coming in with an idea. When I went to StartEngine, it was really just me. Howard Marks was great. He introduced me to a technical co-founder, so they're providing much more resources beyond simply money.
Yeah, and 10K for 50 10% for 50K, and if YC is getting 6% for 20K, it seems like actually a pretty similar deal. And how was the program in the mentors? Was it a 10-week program, 12-week program? Are you there full-time? Are you there once a week? How does it work?
12-week program. We're there every day at 9 a.m. and we leave about 12 hours later. We're there on the weekends. There's a great group of startups that are there. It's just been a wonderful experience to be part of LA's tech scene right now. It's emerging and there's a lot of energy and it's just awesome.
Listen, this is a great startup, and I will look forward to seeing you at the demo day. I will be there. So, when is the demo day? In 2 weeks?
It's next week at Cross Campus, Wednesday evening.
Okay, yeah, I'm supposed to be there, so hopefully I have that on my schedule. Evan, very well done. Afterschool.me. Everybody check out afterschool.me. Very cool idea, and I'm sure you're on AngelList as well. Okay, well, we're moving right along here. We got 2 down and 3 to go, and I have to say, 2 really solid execution. The design looks great on both of these. The domain name is very good on one and okay on the other. One of the ideas is very innovative. The other idea is perhaps not as innovative, but very needed, right? And so as an entrepreneur, you can pick, on the scale, some things are not super innovative, but if they're done well, that in and of itself is innovative. So it might not seem innovative to create a directory of kids stuff, but I can tell you from the frustration I've had trying to find stuff to do with my daughter and find classes and stuff, it is something that is very much needed. So, Steve Jobs created the iPad 10 years after Bill Gates was running around CES with tablets. He just did it so much better that it felt like a new product. So there is a real entrepreneurial lesson there. And then you look at Zebra, which is taking components, right? Taking the component of demand-based aggregation, which is a fancy way of saying group buying, and then taking the Kickstarter model. Like, hey, it was a campaign, it's a certain amount of time, we have to hit a certain number. That's 2 different dynamics, which then, of course, makes something original. So there's nothing new in the world is, an expression you hear, perhaps, but you can create something very new by mixing things that are very old. And combining things, and that's part of entrepreneurship, is that little, mixing and matching of the best of what's out there. Hey, and speaking of the best of what's out there, GoToMeeting by Citrix. Yes, I use GoToMeeting all the time, and I'm using it today. These beautiful HD images, I don't know if you noticed, but Evan from AfterSchool.me was beautifully crisp and delightful over GoToMeeting, solid. Citrix does a great job with GoToMeeting. I use it all the time. When we do the launch festival, which is going to be March 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, that is 200-300 interviews done, 200 or 300 companies interviewed over GoToMeeting. That's like 300, no, it's at least 300 or 400 meetings because multiple people see each company. We use GoToMeeting because the meetings have to start, on time. If they don't start on time, we are screwed because there's a 5 o'clock meeting, a 5:30 meeting, a 6 o'clock meeting, a 6:30 meeting, a 7 o'clock meeting. You get the idea. It has to start on time, and we have to be able to quickly end the call and get the other one up and running. How do we do that? With flat rate pricing from GoToMeeting by Citrix. The solution is just flawless. And these guys are specialists. They've been working on it for so long, and everybody I know who uses the product will not go on a conference call with any of the other products out there. And it works on Mac, and it works on PC, and it works on iPad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It works on everything. And this HD Faces, I'm telling you, what an innovation. It's so gorgeous that it's actually more powerful than the camera that comes on your typical Mac computer. I have upgraded in my conference rooms. I have the Logitech HD 1080p camera because I want to take advantage of all this, Citrix goodness in terms of HD Faces. It really is like those old systems. Remember, like 10 years ago, people were spending $500,000 putting a teleconference room in their companies. Sony was putting all these teleconference rooms in. VCs were money to blow, so they're just buying $500,000. GoToMeeting, it's better, more feature-rich, more stable, and you can go start a 30-day free trial at GoToMeeting. Click the Try It Free button and use the promo code START, S-T-A-R-T. Start. GoToMeeting. Thank you so much for making a great product. And thanks for supporting This Week in Startups, which helps support other great products being made in the world, like we've seen already. And you can go thank at GoToMeeting on your Twitter account. If you do that, I really appreciate it. Just say thank you at GoToMeeting for supporting at Jason. That's my Twitter handle, at Jason. Not bad. and This Week in Startups, TWiST, whatever. Thank them on your Twitter handle. They get a real kick out of that, and I really appreciate it. Go to GoToMeeting.com. Use the promo code START. Get your 30-day free trial. I use it. I endorse it. You will love it. Let's do the next company. Next up, SpinPix. And do we have Heather on the line? Heather, are you there? Hey, Heather.
Hi, yes. Hey.
Wow, look at that great headset. I love it. What are you, a video gamer?
No, I borrowed it.
You borrowed it. Wow. You could land a 747 with that headset. So let's take a look here. SpinPix is yours, right?
Yes.
Okay, you know the rules. And what did you think of the first two companies? Pretty good so far, huh?
Yeah, now I'm a little intimidated. So, yeah.
Don't be. We all start in the same place as entrepreneurs, which is at 0. Ready? 3, 2, go.
Hi, yes. SpinPix is a web and mobile application for discovering visual content. I came up with the idea while I was perusing Pinterest and trying to use it for the site I've been running for the last 5.5 years. I was overwhelmed by the UI. I didn't like the fire hose, so I wanted to streamline the experience. And so I came up with a dashboard for Pinterest. But once my developer and I looked at it, we realized we had something much more, and it translated to many different visual platforms, TwitPic, Instagram, all of those. And we allow the casual sharing of the casual exploration of content and sharing of it to your social graph. We launched in March. We had over 10,000 downloads in our first 30 days, 1 million spins, and we average about 8 minutes of user interaction. And there's a lot of opportunity for seamless marketing. And we've been having fun with things like Open Sky and Guilt. Okay.
I am intrigued and a little confused, which is a good sign. In my experience. So I flip through images, like here is a picture from Italy of a woman in a see-through dress with her underwear.
Of course.
Of course, that's the first thing. And this came from Reddit. And so, of course, people know funny images all over Reddit. So you're pulling images that are popular on the web. Is that correct?
Exactly. But we filter a lot of things because one of the big problems with Pinterest is they pull images from anywhere. And what we do is we filter out images that cannot be properly attributed, because I'm a content creator. And if you can't click through from the image to my site, I really don't want you sharing it.
Got it.
In that way.
So you have, here we go. This is a picture of somebody who says on Reddit, first marker said, my grandfather put together this panorama shortly after the U.S. took Iwo Jima. Any photo wizards want to take a crack at it. But if I click this, I'm going to go to Reddit.
Exactly.
And so in a way, it's like StumleUpon?
Absolutely. We have a joke that it's like if Pinterest and StumleUpon had a baby, but then after Pinterest pulled their API, it was kind of like they went out for cigarettes and never came home.
Okay, and I can very easily, with this little box on the right, say, this is cool, and share the spin to my Facebook page. And it should share it, right? And it said shared.
Absolutely.
And then I just move on. And I just click to spin up here. And if I put it on auto spin every X number of seconds, it will spin.
Yes, it'll show you. Yep.
Oh, this is very sad. This is somebody who died on 9/11, today being 9/11.
Right.
And so this is just super compelling because all of these things have been pre-vetted in a way, because they're the best of what's on the web.
Exactly. And one of the things we found when we first launched is we experimented with promoted spins, in which the brands I have worked with in the past, we went ahead and pulled images from their Pinterest boards with their permission, of course, and we monitored the interaction that was happening. And when it was done perfectly with people's interest, it was shared and tweeted and repinned just as much as the rest of the content.
Okay. Now, are you a designer, or does your team have a designer on it, or are you guys all techs?
Paul Reynolds is my partner, and he does the tech side.
He does the tech side. Are you a designer, or you're the idea product
I'm a
person?
content creator.
Got it.
I just came up with this because I didn't like the way Pinterest was.
Okay. So here's what I think. I think that you're onto something in the same way StumbleUpon is and Pinterest is. I think that the design doesn't do it justice, and I think the name SpinPix is good. So I think that if you were to engage a UX, UI design expert, maybe even 3 of them, and give them each $1,000 and say, go, that you might come up with something really, really game-changing. I think the world expects design that's a little bit better than this, but I can see where you're going with this. and it's compelling. It's very compelling because people love images. Now, there's a legality issue that will come up, of course, and you have to be sensitive to that.
We already have an opt-out page, and it's right there on the spinpix.com.
Yeah, and that's by domain or by image?
Both. We can do it either way.
So obviously Reddit might say at some point, like, Reddit wouldn't because they're cool, but other people might have a problem with this, and opt-out is a little aggressive, but most people would want you to opt in for images. So if you were to, for example, pull up, a litigious group of people, like Perfect 10, are the people who had like an adult magazine and sued Google, and I don't know what ever happened with the Perfect 10 lawsuit. That was the first one of like image navigation lawsuits. You can have problems, and so you got to, as a startup, you have to take risk, but you have to be aware of the risk you're taking and try to reasonably avoid it. So I think you probably have.
Yeah, we do like Flickr. We only pull from the Creative Commons, and so we're pretty careful with what we do.
Yeah, but even with Flickr, it's like if you pull from any photo on Flickr, and as long as you take as long as it's not advertising around it, and you're linking to the original source, I don't think people would have a problem with this. And I immediately thought this would be a great iPad app.
It is. Well, you can do it. It works beautifully on the iPad. Where the spin button is, it's right where your thumb goes when you hold it.
Yeah. So if it's me, I would be spending a little bit of time on the design, the UX, and just trying to nail that, because we know people love photos, we know people love to share, we know people love to comment, and we know that there's plenty of APIs and systems out there for you to just really not scrape, but just skim the cream of what's the best images out there and most interesting, and why not? You seem like you're doing it in a classy way with good intention by linking to the original sources and who posted it. You're really making it clear where this came from, which I like, and you probably didn't even have to do that. So I think that angel investors and VCs will not invest in this is the challenge you'll have, because they will look at the IP risk where Pinterest is protecting itself because the users are the ones who put it into the system. You're using other methods to put the photos in the system, like Reddit, etc. So you might get a little pushback from them. And let's face it, VCs didn't appreciate Pinterest until it had scale. But what I love about this business is if you do paid exposure in it, paid discovery is what StumleUpon uses. For people who don't know, you hit StumleUpon. It's a very popular service with a small number of people. Popular in that they use it for a lot of hours, but it's low millions of users. Every fifth or 10th page is somebody paying a nickel to 10 cents to have you look at that page. But the other 9 are super compelling and interesting, picked by the community. So you're not doing something super revolutionary here, but I do think that fact that all these social networks now exist and you allow people to quickly post to them, that is kind of neat. So you're going to need to do a little innovation, maybe personalization, maybe based on my likes. You serve me up more of the similar categories, but I think you're off to a good start.
Thank you.
And your pitch, not bad. Great. Well done. And where are you at? Where are you based?
Charleston, South Carolina, and my partner's in Myrtle Beach.
Awesome. You have to move.
I want to.
Yeah. Just leave. I mean, go to the Valley, go to New York, or go to California, or go to Austin and Seattle, Boston, one of these places that got incubators. And I think if you do one level of iteration on this, you'll get into an incubator, no problem. In fact, there's so many incubators out there. Is that what you're thinking of doing? Trying to get into YC or trying to get into something?
Yes.
Which one do you want to get into?
We're just beginning the research right now.
Yeah, I think incubator is a good way for you to go. You first-time entrepreneur?
Yes. Well, I've been running my website for 5.5 years and make decent income on that.
It's you need one more little thing to amp it up. So, I'm sure you have a huge roadmap. Look at your roadmap and think of something that makes it a little more unique. Because when I look at it, I say, okay, StumleUpon. Okay, great. Pinterest. You need to have a perspective or a view of the world, something that just amps it up a little bit more. I think to capture the imagination of, like, let's say you wanted to get Shervin or Kevin Rose, it's not enough to show them StumleUpon, because those are pretty savvy dudes, or Cyan Bannister, a very savvy lady. They're going to look at it and go, okay, I've seen StumleUpon, I've seen some things like this. How is this different? And you need to have a really good answer. So I'll ask it as if I'm Kevin Rose or Shervin. So I'm an investor in Pinterest, and I'm good friends with the person who created StumleUpon. How is this different?
Correct.
And it's fine if you don't have an answer right now, but that's the question you're going to get from an angel, and you got to be ready for that.
We have a lot of plans for doing things like rating the spins, because if somebody shares something, it doesn't necessarily mean they like it. You can share something that you think is just awful, and so it's not necessarily an indicator. So we want to pull in a lot of data on how long people are looking at it, what they're looking at, and there's also a lot of potential in discovery-based shopping.
Okay, so that's not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, rating it. Okay, everybody knows rating systems can be gamed, or rating systems are like, very Yelp 2001,
right.
2002. So one way to think about this is think about what are the major trends on the internet right now. The major trends on the internet right now is obviously, like you said, social shopping, Pinterest and Fab, and the fancy. So adding a spin on shopping is an interesting idea. I don't know what exactly it is, but anyway, this is how an entrepreneur needs to think. What are the trends right now that I can attach to a previous trend, right? Like before we saw Groupon, sort of an older trend combined with Kickstarter, a newer trend to create something that, captures the imagination. You're missing the other piece. You've got half, you need to add the other piece. So crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, there's no real crowdfunding opportunity here. Okay, we'll take that off the list. Mobile, okay, that's a big opportunity.
That's actually how it got started, was there was no Android app for Pinterest, so we created it.
Yeah. So that's a good story. And so working on the mobile and saying, well, what makes mobile interesting, and what's unique about that format that would make this more compelling, so easier to share and, on mobile, maybe. What's other trends right now? Educational, social, mobile, location-based. You have to start thinking about those things. And maybe there isn't one, but it could just be an execution play and making it more and more refined. But your paid discovery model, that was the unique thing about StumleUpon, so you can't really take too much credit for that. But anyway, good start. Good start.
Thank you.
Okay, stay in touch and let me know how it goes, Heather. All right, let's do our fourth company. And this is the point where Tyler would say, that reminds me of something. That reminds me of a blank in a blank with a blank. I hopefully wouldn't say that last part. Okay, let's go to Wise Nation. Wise Nation is Asim. Asim, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hey, Jason.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am well. So you know the rules. You have 60 seconds. 3, 2, go.
All right. So Wise Nation is a location-based social bulletin board to connect with neighbors, local businesses, and other locals with similar interests and skills. Like a bulletin board located in your building, community center, office, or apartment building, you can pretty much post any kind of message on Wise Nation. For example, if you're looking for a babysitter, then you can just do a shout out on Wise Nation, and all your neighborhood and your vicinity will be able to see that. And if there are any other babysitters in your area, they will be able to reply to it directly. And they can even send you a private message if you want to exchange their phone numbers and emails. Wise Nation can also be used as a local classified to buy or sell stuff. And local organizations and businesses, they can create business profiles to make local announcements and reach their local. And in a nutshell, Wise Nation is a local social network.
Okay. So this idea has been out there. People have talked about it, and I have yet to use one. I know there was My Block or something like that, or My Town, and it was like a location-based social network, and you could only join it if you were, in that neighborhood. I like the idea of a Craigslist that's local,
That's right.
But I think right now, you got a couple of problems. You're trying to do a lot of different things at once. You have the business, you have the MyWizzy, you have Wizinity. It's a very confusing user interface and a confusing product message. So I'll ask you a question. What is the how long has this been out for?
About 3 months.
What is the single biggest use case? Who's using it the most, and what are they using it for?
Real estates and people who are trying to sell used stuff.
Okay, so you got a real estate broker like this dude, Kim Louie, who just cannot stop posting and is ruining the feed.
Yeah, I have to put a cap on some of these real estate agents.
Yeah, that's what happens on message boards that are local. Now, do I have to be at that geolocation in order to post?
Yes.
How do you know that I'm at that geolocation?
So when you sign up, you have to sign up using your postal code or zip code.
So I could fake it?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. So the fact that it can be faked means it will be gamed and it will have less signal. So this guy Kim can go all over and post to it. And the fact that this is a web app is also a little bit weird. And the fact that it's not a clear message is also confusing. What you need to do as an entrepreneur is solve one problem really well and then scale from there. And if that one problem doesn't work, if you don't solve that problem, it doesn't take off, you can either iterate on it or you can move on. So you have, I think what you really want to try to do here is pick one of these use cases and make a clear brand that does just that. And I would force people to be in that location. And I would do it only in a small city. So I'd pick some city you're in or another city, just do Austin, Texas, or just do Brooklyn. And if you did this just in Brooklyn and you used a name like Brooklyn blocks, right? People are on different blocks in Brooklyn, or Brooklyn hoods, and it's an iPhone app, Android app, or a website where it'd be better as an app. You can post based on being in a 3-block radius, but that's it. And it's just a message board by block. And you cannot, when you take out your phone, you see messages from that area. And that's it. And the messages are around community building stuff, or it's dating, or whatever. Because you see Highlight is doing, Highlight and the other one are doing like dating and finding people by location. And in this, is it going to be, getting pitched by real estate brokers? Really? That's a bad use of the technology. It's annoying. Marketing is terrible. Everybody hates marketing messages. Come up with something where it really helps the user. So what problem do you have on a local basis? Do you not know your neighbors and you want to? That's one problem. Do you not know what programs and services are in your neighborhood or what the issues are in your neighborhood? You have to solve a very specific problem for yourself or for at least somebody you know well or a group of people you know well. And I think what you're building here is what you intellectually think people need. And what happens is when you try to build a whole bunch of stuff that you think people intellectually need, but you yourself do not need, it becomes really hard because you're just thinking in the abstract. So what's something on a local basis that you yourself need, Asim?
So when I'm looking to borrow something from my neighbor or trying to sell my old stuff, I can just shout out on Wise Nation and I can use Craigslist or Kijiji. But the thing is that those websites are not social. Like, they haven't innovated in a while. So what I did was I just used those model and I made it social.
Now,
because the web is going social, right?
Right. So do you perceive that the idea of borrowing from your neighbors is a good idea?
Yes.
Okay, so
why not? Like let's say if you want to borrow a letter or a tool, why would you want to borrow? Why would you want to buy a letter if you are going to be using it once a year, right?
Right. So here's an example. It's called neighborgoods.net, and a woman named Mickey here in Los Angeles created this. It's only for Los Angeles. There are 3,200 people using it, listing 2,300 items, and I'm not sure if it's actually working or not, but it did get a little bit of press 2 years ago when it came out. And as you can see, their message is super clear, and they have density in an area. And you can see all the people in Santa Monica or Mar Vista who are using it. And you can see it got in the New York Times and Boing Boing and Oprah, Lifehacker, TechCrunch, Good, NPR. So what you see there is people actually want this. However, it's closing. And I guess there's another company called Favor Tree. which is a favorite trending startup, but people have been navigating around where you are. So there is some activity there, which means there might be something to do, but it's hard to trade and I guess from your neighbors. So I think that you're still very much in experimental phase, but you might not have the right methodology for experimenting. I suggest you narrow down your focus and try to solve one simple problem on your block, on your neighborhood, and for yourself. And if you think it's just, borrowing and trading stuff, just having a directory of who's in the neighborhood, and you have there's one startup, for local neighborhood watches. There's Zillow and Trulia for neighborhood real estate. Try to do it vertical specific first, because you're not going to have enough critical mass to make this sort of wide thing work. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, those are some good suggestions.
Where are you based?
I'm based out of Kitchener-Waterloo in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, I think you're like watching the Silicon Valley scene from a distance. I bet you're a fan of startups. I take it.
Yep.
And is this
That's
your first startup?
Yes.
Okay. So for your first startup, you got a couple of things right. You found, you found the show. So you're listening to This Week in Startups. I'm hopefully religiously, right?
Oh, you're pretty popular over here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So you're out there seeking out information from other entrepreneurs, whether it's Angel List, This Week in Startups, Kevin Rose's Foundation podcast, This Week in Tech with Leo Laporte. You're out there seeking information. You're a seeker, right? And you're learning. But the problem is when you're this disconnected from Silicon Valley, you're probably looking at all these different ideas being done, and you're trying to do too much. You have less resources and less experience as a first-time entrepreneur. You have less knowledge being in a second-tier city to the top-tier tech cities. It's even more important for you to be focused and trying to solve one problem because you're disconnected from the tech hubs and your first time. Narrow your focus, solve one problem, and do it beautifully and elegantly. And you're technical, right? Like you built the website yourself?
No, I worked with a developer.
So I think you need to have a skill yourself, whether it's web design, programming, or user interface. So if you can't code yourself, I think the easiest thing for you to do is either become a designer or a UX person, because your UX right now and your color scheme and everything is terrible. You have to really work on that. And the reason it's probably terrible is you lack experience, but you also lack focus. It's hard to do a lot of things well. That's why even Steve Jobs or Google likes to pull features. Everybody's trying to pull features out of products so that the products are elegant and simple. It's easy to design a product with 3 features, but when you start adding 30 features, like on your homepage here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 12 things I can click on, 13 things I can click on above the fold. It should be 5 or 3. Like really start to narrow that down and reduce down the amount of stuff I can do on the website so that it's clearer for me what to do. But you're off to a good start and you're doing something which, the fact that you're even trying means you're better than 99% of the people out there. Now it's time, or let's say 90% of the people out there. Now that you're part of the 10%, we got to move you from the 10th percentile to the 9th, to the 8th, to the 7th, to the 6th. And the way you're going to do that is focus and with domain expertise in something. So focus in on a vertical and gain some domain expertise in something. Whether it's geo-targeting, whether it's design, whether it's UX, just start working on your skills, Asim, so that those skills then come out in the product. Well done. Let's hear it for Asim.
That's great. Thank you.
Any questions for me, Asim?
No, you gave some solid suggestions, so I'm bound to follow them now.
Okay, good. And check back in with me when you're done doing them. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have one more left. TagRx. TagRx, are you there?
I am.
Okay, that is Clynton, right? Clynton Caines?
That's correct.
Okay, Clynton, you know the rules. 3, 2, 1, go.
Sure. Clothing and gift cards are multi-billion-dollar businesses because kids are always growing and only moms know the current size of the kids. TagRx was developed to help families save time and money buying clothes for kids especially. Families that have moms that are extremely busy or working and they don't have a whole lot of time to go out shopping, but they have extended families that want to help. They just don't know what to send and what the current sizes are when they do try to send something. So that's our target market. TagRx is going to launch later this fall, hopefully in the next few weeks, but we have a public beta available right now. And the goal is to connect folks on any system to have the ability to interact with other family members and find out whatever information they need. We're actually looking for $50,000 to put towards bringing on a CEO, because I'm a technical guy. I build stuff, but I definitely don't make it pretty. And we actually need to get some UI folks on this as well to make it a whole lot nicer looking.
Okay, well done, well done. Okay, so why are you building this? Why this idea? There's a million ideas, a billion ideas. Why this one?
Well, I had a personal pain point, and that is that, well, really two of them. I have a nephew, and every time I wanted to buy him something or send him something, I had to call my sister and find out, what's his current size. And this was like, every few weeks or something like that. And then the other problem is I have kids of my own, and every time I go shopping, my wife says, hey, can you pick this up for this child or that? And I'm sitting there like, well, I don't know what the size is, and I don't want to go up to someone and says, hey, can you guess, what size my daughter is? Very, very embarrassing kind of situation. So
okay.
I think it solves both of those issues.
And people are faced with the issue of buying a gift for somebody once, twice, 3 times a year, probably a nephew, or for their own kids. With your own kids, I guess, figuring out what size they are is something you do, right? You just put your foot in that shoe thing and you figure out the size, no harm, no foul. That's pretty easy. But figuring out the sizes,
and I never know, so I always have to go back and ask my wife, hey, what's the current size?
Yeah, and ordering online sizes are problems, and so you found a pain point. The question is your solution the best solution, right? So finding a pain point is one part of entrepreneurship. Figuring out what solution to put against that is the other. And so people actually route around this pretty easily. I buy gift cards for people or give them money for their birthdays. Then they can buy whatever size they want or whatever it is they want. That's one way to route around it. Another way to route around it is to buy something with a receipt so that they can return it. And places like Zappos let you return in a year. So there's that. So I don't know how, and also emailing or texting somebody what is their size or knowing their age from their Facebook page is another way to route around it. I've done that. How old are they? Approximate age. I'll just guess the size, and in worst case scenario, they return it. So I think that you found a problem that is very small, and there's also people solving this problem by having the ability to take a picture and understand the size of somebody. So that's like a real technological solution to it. So I think that you may have found too small of a problem. And as an entrepreneur, what you have to realize is entrepreneurs are going to put 60, 70, 80, 90 hours a week into something, no matter what they do. Putting 80 hours a week into building this app, or 80 hours a week into building Path, or 80 hours a week into building Angry Birds, whatever it is, it's the same 80 hours. It's all your effort as an entrepreneur. You're all in, leaning into it, doing the best you can. And so you have to pick the right problem. And if this problem I don't perceive as a huge problem or one that is, necessary to solve right now. But if you talk to 20 people about the problem, I bet you're going to triangulate around something. And maybe the problem here is gifting is hard, right? It's hard to get gifts for people. It's hard to know what they want. Now we're like, okay, in the funnel of problems, like, if we reduce this down, you found this problem over here about like, okay, I couldn't figure out the size for my cousin or my nephew to buy him a gift. But there might be a bigger problem when you step back and say, well, gifting is hard. It's hard to get somebody a gift and know what they want. Amazon had a solution for that, the wish list. Some people actually keep wish lists. Other people are creating gifting apps. One of them was called Karma that got bought by Facebook, where you could it would suggest gifts to you, and then you give them to somebody. Another possibility is, and Fab is another sort of, and Pinterest are actually, and the Fancy are solutions to this as well. The Fab and Fancy and Pinterest are giving you ways to find interesting stuff. And if somebody starts pinning stuff they want, you have an idea if they want it. So I would start looking at the bigger issue of gifting and go down that path, because that's hot right now. And social gifting and commerce and getting people to make impulse purchases, or I'm buying you something, that's going to be a bigger, sexier, more fun thing to do. Whereas just getting somebody their size, it's too easy of a problem for you to be solving, I think. And there's not going to be a global directory of people's sizes. People are not going to fill it out. It's not a juicy enough problem. So move up the stack, find a bigger problem. Find a bigger pond to swim in or fish in. Find a bigger wave to surf. This is too small of a wave. You're in the kiddie pool. You got to get a bigger wave, because it's not worth solving this problem. If you solve this problem, what do you win? What's the prize? I don't think there's a huge prize. But if you solve the overall gifting problem, or gifting problem for teenage girls, or gifting problem for teenagers, or gifting problems for parents, whatever it is, or collective, somebody wants a big gift, and you have 10 different uncles and aunts and whatever, chipping in to buy a big gift, maybe that's a better problem to solve. I've seen people dance around that one. So I'm a kid who wants an Xbox, but I'm going to get a $40 gift from 10 different people when I really wanted a $400 Xbox with, this, Connect or something. So maybe you try to solve that problem of, I'm a kid, I can send a request out to everybody who's getting me a birthday present and say, don't buy me a $40 pair of socks that I don't want, put it towards my Xbox fund. And here's a, way to do it. I'm started an Xbox fund. So that would be my advice to you, Clynton, is pick a better problem.
Right. Well, one of the things I hear you saying we actually already have in the app right now, which is closer to the bottom, though, where you can actually specify, these are my favorite stores, this is my favorite characters, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So, it sounds like what you're saying is we definitely need to, go based on more of those things and forget more about the sizing specifics.
Yeah, I think doing too much and forcing me to fill out 40 fields for some possible payout, filling out the fields doesn't feel like fun. People have, form fatigue right now. That's why something like Pinterest or the Fancy is doing so well, because it's actually fun. It's a game to pick the cool images, and it's really rewarding, and they're surfacing the most interesting stuff and hiding the stuff that's boring. So those systems have made it fun to enter information about yourself. Now, they're doing it for different reasons, than your friends buying stuff for you. They want your data. And the like button is sort of that whole thing. So you're triangulating in, but I wouldn't be afraid to just scrap the entire idea and start over 2 or 3 times, 4 or 5 times, until you find something where you provide tremendous value to the person. And right now, I don't feel tremendous value. I feel light value. And in a world today where people are so inundated with so many different products and services, you are obligated to solve a big problem for me, or delight me, or to save me a lot of time or money. One of those things, and hopefully a couple of those things. And so keep triangulating, keep iterating, not a big enough problem, and not an elegant enough solution, or fun enough solution. And so you got to work on both sides, picking a better problem, but you're very early. Clearly, you're very early. So I wouldn't raise money for this. I would start over and take a second stab at the idea. You're going to need to take 2 or 3, and you're going to, if you're going to do something really innovative, it might take 2 or 3, 4, 5 times to hit on that. Angry Birds took 39 times, so I encourage you to not give up and to keep iterating.
Right. Well, thanks very much.
Yeah. You've watching the show for a while, or are you new to the show?
I'm relatively new to the show. I did go back and look at a few of them.
Oh, okay.
And,
you have a favorite episode?
Probably 276 with Bill Lee.
Oh, Bill Lee's great. Yeah, I love Bill Lee. Good friend of mine. All right, Bill Lee, 1 vote for Bill Lee. I should have asked everybody else what their favorite episodes were. I forgot to do that. Yep. All right, we'll keep watching, and if you have any questions, you know how to get me, at Jason on Twitter. Let me thank Stamps.com for supporting the program. Welcome, Stamps.com, to the This Week in Startups family. Go to Stamps.com and click on the microphone at the top and use the promo code TWiST. Go to Stamps.com, microphone, click on TWiST. Please do that if you're a super fan. You're going to love the service. I love it. It's great. And thank you, of course, GoToMeeting for flawless service for the last, 6, 7 years I've been using it. Thank you so much, GoToMeeting, and we'll see you next time on This Week in Startups.